Here you see the business model diagram of a company that manufactures and sells trailers to the transportation market. Here you see a value proposition called X-Trailer proposition, and you can imagine that the product, there's maybe a product family called X-Trailer, and here is a transporter which represents the individual transporters in the transportation market. In order to get this value proposition created and provided to the transporters, the company whose business model this is need to do certain activities. So here we will focus now on the activities dimension, or the activities block in the business model. Behind this business model diagram there is already a lot of more detailed content, model content based on VDML, Value Delivery Modeling Language, to represent all kinds of aspects. Basically all the aspects you see here abstracted in detail. Elements in these blocks are also having more detailed representation, but are also integrated and related to each other in the representation behind. This time we will add an activity to the activities block, and we'll link that activity to a activity representation behind. And let's do it first. So we create an activity item, activity, and we are going to select an existing activity. The activity that we will select to link to this activity is not just any activity that you can imagine, because customers can do activities, network partners can do activities, the business itself using its capabilities can perform activities. But this block is actually about activities that do directly or indirectly contribute value to a value proposition. So when we now go into the system to select an activity, you can imagine that the system will first ask which value proposition do you mean, to which you would like to contribute value, and based on that let you select activities. So let's try that. So we go to the context menu, link to VDML. Here you are, select value proposition. We make it easy for ourselves because so far there was only one, but it can be multiple of course, but we select this one. We say next. But maybe before we do that, maybe it's handier that I save first. You never know. We are in the middle of a research development project, so we need to take care about that sometimes. So we select the value proposition, activities that contribute value to this value proposition, and for now we say these are all high-level activities. We select manage fulfillment, which is about getting an order and deliver the product to the transporter. We finish, and hereby it's linked. Okay, let's now look into the underlying representation. We go again to the context menu, we open activity network diagram, and here you see on the right an activity which is highlighted. That was the one where we link it to from the activity in the business model diagram. Manage fulfillment. You see an order goes in, scroll a little bit to the right, a product comes out. Okay. You see also, by the way, that manage fulfillment is performed by the role manufacturer on the left, and the other one, operate product, is performed by the role transporter. That also suggests that there is a sort of collaboration between these roles and interaction. You can see that here when I click another view which is synchronized with this view. You see that there is the same roles represented now as ovals, and the things, the business items that they exchanged via these arrows. So an order is going from the transporter to the manufacturer and a product is sent. So this is the role collaboration view. This is not a different model, it's the same model data but synchronized and different representation on the same thing. By the way, as I told you, this is not just an activity, manage fulfillment. Why did we select it? Because it contributes value to a value proposition in the business model. Let's just click the details of it. and you see all kinds of details. For instance, there's a capability requirement, as you see here, fulfillment management. When I click that, I will go to a library of standardized capabilities. We will explore that in the next demo fragment in a minute. Now we will just indicate, something else. I go here to this outgoing flow, and I say show output properties. Here you see something like value adds. These are components that represent value created by the activity. And when I just click one, for instance, called late spec freeze, has to do with lead time elements, you see there is a value measurement. You measure it in a certain way, and that value measurement is created based on a value measure, and that value measure, as well as the type of characteristic that is measured, is also stored in measure libraries. We will not dig into that now for time reasons. But you see here also a tab called aggregated from. So this value component here is aggregated from another one. And when I would go there, I would have another aggregated from, and so on and so forth, till I hit onto the value proposition. So there is a chain of value contributions, all in measurable terms, based on which, from very deep to very high level, you can calculate all over the system, and finally to calculate your value proposition measurements. Okay, closing it now. And as you might see, when you go back to this activity diagram, what you might yet miss is indications, graphical indications in the diagram itself, or of where value is created. We are currently working on that, so in hopefully not long from now, in another demonstration, we could demonstrate to you how also that aspect could be visualized, which is not visualized right now. So we are also closing this one. And we are going back to the high-level diagram, the business model diagram. Okay, trying to close this one. Okay, back in the business model diagram. So you have seen, or at least you understood, that there is a detailed model behind which is all connected. How can we also abstract that relationship, for instance, from this activity to that value proposition at this level itself? Well, we can do that. If you click this one again, you see all sorts of relationships. Let's walk them. Add partner activity relationship. That's not the one we need here. Add activity capability relationship. We will come back to that in the next demo step. Add a value proposition activity relationship. Let's take that one, this one. You see now a connection. This connection shows solid. It could also have shown as a dotted line. That would have meant that the underlying representation is not consistent or is broken. Of course, today we show you based on an underlying representation which is complete and consistent. When I would just, remove a value object somewhere behind it, and I come back to here, you would see that it is a dotted line. But for now it's valid. Okay, so let's save here. I could also create maybe another activity. Maybe I could do that, simply create another one. Activity. You get that. I'm not going into the details there. I just save it. So far, so good.